welcome to this Monday, December 23rd, 2024. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in the beautiful state of Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM. We're also coming to you live from the beautiful network of the United Public Radio, UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. I'm so excited. I can't stand myself right now. So we're on Facebook, we're on Roku, we're on Rumble, we are on YouTube. We are doing so many crazy things these days. I want to talk about these guys. We love you, Carnation. You're a great company, and thank you for being our supporters on this network. We greatly appreciate it. I want you to know something. I'm a weird person. See my coffee cup? I put this in my coffee. This is my creamer. I don't use any other kind generally. I prefer Carnation. The liquidy stuff, the evaporated milk, because it's twice as liquidy as just pouring milk in your cup. It's really good. You should try it. Okay, Preston. So we don't have a guest tonight. We have a Q&A.
Yes, we do have a guest. It's the audience. That's the way I look at it.
Right, okay. You're correct.
Correct. It's you guys who are our guest tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. So excited. This is episode, 87 of The Light Gate. So we've been cooking right along here.
Yep.
We're close to 2 years now. Pretty excited about it. I, of course, am your host, Preston Dennett. My lovely co-host is Dolly Safran. And yeah, we're doing a Q&A tonight. It's been a couple of months. We love doing Q&As. None of the hassle of trying to get a guest in the green room. Just answering your questions. And I can see you've already got a bunch lined up, so keep them coming. We're going to be talking about all kinds of different things. But let me just say hi to some of you folks here in chat, because like I always say, it's because of you we do this show. It's because of you that our Mondays are that much brighter. So thank you. I truly appreciate you guys showing up here each Monday evening. And I see some very familiar faces and perhaps a few new ones as well. And our first person in line is Olivia, who is looking forward to this Q&A episode. I love doing Q&As. And here's Peak, who has got lots of questions in here early, but will not be offended if many get skipped to be fair to everyone else. I like to go first come, first serve. So you're good, Peak, but definitely get your questions in early. It will ensure that we do have time to get to answering them. So thank you, Peak. Hi, Ruth Kleiber.
Hi.
Nice to see you. And we have Scuba Maru always joining us faithfully. Thank you so much. We have the Owl Man. Happy Christmas Eve and Hanukkah and winter solstice to all. Yes, we forgot to say happy holidays.
Yep.
So, thank you, guys. Yeah, happy holidays. Celebrate it. It's a lovely time of the year. I love how people are just a little bit nicer, usually, unless you're in a store buying last-minute gifts, then watch out. But yeah, I love Christmas time. It's fun. So Merry Christmas to all. Happy holidays, Happy Hanukkah, and all the Happy New Year's and all the happiness all around. Okay. We have lots of people here. We have John Barrett. We have Bridget Bambrick. I'll get to your questions there, Bridget. I see them. We have Tim Houston. Good morning from Oz, saying hello, Dolly.
Hello.
We have Heidi Hansen. And goodness, Heidi, we love you so much. What a wonderful Christmas gift donation. It means so much. It really helps us a lot. It helps me to continue doing my research, and Dolly as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's tremendously generous and kind of you. We love you dearly. Who else do we have here? We got Yoga with Denise. We have Tim Houston. And we have Namaste with another tremendously generous donation. Love you too, Namaste.
Honey, sweet. Will you hit me up on Messenger so I can send you my phone number? We need to talk. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Namaste. We absolutely do love you and think you are just a beautiful person. Okay, who else we have here? We have Bambi Dudley. And she's asking, Dolly, are you feeling better? Yes,
Yes.
it
Yes.
is.
My surgery was a success. I scared the doctor. Well, I didn't scare her. She was shocked. All my wounds have already healed. I'm only 10 days post-op, and I'm doing really well. So thank you. Yeah.
Very cool. Mountain Dan, greetings, fellow Earthlings from Tennessee. Or I will take my spaceship and I will blast you all. You do that better.
People are blow up the earth with my P3 formulator. Okay, sorry.
We have Catherine Four Feathers. We have Flubber Lane. Hello. We got Nicholson Niesler. Niesler? You'll have to tell me if I got that right. I'm going to go with Niesler.
Yes, correct.
And we have Love It. Hi, Preston and Dolly.
Hello.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to flag that question there from Alex. Thank you. Linda Catlett says, hello, Dolly and Preston. Merry Christmas. We got the Blind Psychonaut.
Cool.
Shane. Hello. Oh, Shane. How you doing? It's awesome. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're doing well. We got Larissa Marks. We got Brian W. and Knight's Glory. We got Kaj. We have a nice big audience. You guys are amazing. Martin Malini. Oh, I'm going to put a star on that. Yes. We're going to start with the drones, just so you guys know, so we can get that out of the way. Oh, Cosmic Zen. First time joining live. Love you, Dolly and Preston. Looking forward to the show and Dolly's wisdom. Very cool. John Schaefer's didn't receive notification. You might try unsubscribing and then resubscribing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes that does happen. Larissa Marks, you guys are so cool. Oh, right back at you, Larissa. We got Chris.
Hi, Chris Pine. Christine.
We got Cursor1. Wishing you the best from Istanbul, Turkey. How amazing is that? Very cool.
You realize that my family roots are in Turkey. My name Safran is Turkish.
Night's Glory, EDK, peace and love. Yes, peace and love, everyone. We need more of that. Thank you, EDK. Solomon Jacks. Oh, goodness. Glenn Anderson from NOK. I'm not sure.
Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Thank
my
you so
goodness.
much, Glenn.
Thank you.
You are truly kind. Can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Me and Dolly both. Big hugs, sending love your way. Thank you. Okay. We have Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
We have Becky Sloan. We have Karen Holton, who just has a new book out.
On the market. Yes, it's on
goodness.
Amazon.
Check it out. Right. She's going to be coming on in the new year to talk about her book. I think it's Meeting the Interdimensionals.
Yes.
You can correct me if I'm wrong with the title, Karen, but definitely pop that in chat and we will put it up because I'm reading it and it's amazing. Karen, like Dolly, has pretty darn good recollection of her contacts. So yeah, definitely check that out. Okay, I better get started. Sly Martins, all the way from Portugal. And Flea Market Gold. Hello from Pennsylvania. I love that moniker. Octopus with no friends.
Oh, hi.
Lisa Lynn, finally caught alive. Merry Christmas. Osiris one. Oh, White Dragon's here.
Hey.
Keith Rothwell, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Love you so much. Thank you, Keith. I can't tell you how much this helps us. It really does. So thank you. And Louise, oh my goodness.
Oh, Louise, thank you.
You guys are just so amazing. Thank you, Louise. Yeah. It's huge. We love you so much. You guys are amazing, Mountain Dan. Thank you. This is just awesome. Karen Holton, thanks for mentioning my book. Of course.
Absolutely. Every time. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Can't wait to have you on. Yeah. But let's get this show started because we do have lots of questions. First, let me put up the banner for our guest, which is you, the audience. Now, I do want to say a little bit about who we are for those of you who are new. Some of you, this may be repetitive, but I just want to let you know that I began investigating UFOs in 1986 when I found out my family, friends, and coworkers were having encounters. I came in as a complete skeptic, got knocked over by finding out that so many people I knew were having encounters. I joined MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. I became a field investigator. For 10 years, I did research, reading books, and interviewing people and writing articles. Then I put out my first book in 1996, UFO Healings, and have since then put out over 30 books, written 100 articles, and now I'm doing this and having all kinds of fun. And yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, of course, you're watching it. But you can check out the links in the show notes. And let me tell you a little bit about Dolly, because she has quite a resume. She's worked as a limo driver, an assistant manager at Wendy's when she was quite young, but a zookeeper, a bus driver, a security guard, a lifeguard, a nurse for some years, and quite a bit more. A civilian worker for the U.S. Department of the Treasury, and in the Army as an employee for the U.S. Department of Defense. She's actually trained in martial arts, karate, Krav Maga. Her contacts began when she was just months old and are still going on today. But it was really at age 14 that everything changed for her when she had an onboard encounter and refused to have missing time, remembered everything, and since then has remembered all her contacts. So I want to underline this because when Dolly speaks with authority, it's because she is in contact with the ETs. Some of you have asked in previous shows, like, how can Dolly know this? It's because she's spent hundreds upon hundreds, well, it's thousands of hours, I guess,
easily,
with the ETs directly. And I know her story is quite incredible, but I will tell you, I've seen the ships. I've seen her resume. She's proven it to me. I've seen her medical documentation. I've talked to supporting witnesses. I've seen her photographic evidence. Yeah, I saw the ships myself and had a fully conscious onboard experience myself. So I've moved way beyond belief to actual experiential knowledge. I just want to underline that because when Dolly's describing stuff, it's because she does know. All right, well, let's just get started, you guys. I see a bunch of questions here, and I'm going to do my best to keep up with them.
Okay, so, can we start with the drones real quick?
Yeah.
I would like every person within the sound of my voice to understand this, and I'm going to preface it first with this. ET are no longer in our solar system. They have backed out. They have been gone now for 2 full years. The reason that they do not fly here is because we're in a major pole change. Our magnetosphere is down 40%, and our guidelines are now chaotic and impossible to fly on. That is why they started crashing so bad. Knowing this, you must understand that whatever is happening to us right now is by our own hands, by our own people, by our own world governments. The drones that you see are 100% from this earth. What is happening behind the scenes is majorly important to every person here and everywhere else in the world. You all must very carefully and calmly discern the situation that we are all in worldwide. Because the fact that we might be walking into a world war and it's imminent, and other geopolitical changes that are going on are going to cause a lot of problems worldwide. I have asked people this before, I'm going to say it again. You need water. You need food in resource. You need a way to create fire or cook outside of your home if you have to. You need a way to have energy, which might not happen. And you need a way to stay warm with a roof over your head. Not our generations, the ones that are hearing me now, very few of us have experience in remembering what it was like to be at World War. I only remember through my family, my parents, my grandparents. I saw the devastating effects of World War on my family, and I've lived with it my entire life in preparation for the next one. And it will happen. It is coming. And I want you to understand that they have raised a false flag. They have people all over this world, including this country and among you all, who are not quite clear on who the drones belong to. They belong to us. They belong to other world powers that are watching us. Do not doubt that for a minute. We have the technology. We have incredible technology that is going to beguile you and treat you mentally into not knowing the truth about much. I want you to please keep this under your advisement. I want you to research what I say and look critically at the situation that we are all in. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Those drones are us. They are operated by us and other world powers on top of us. Please be careful. Please take care of yourselves. And please know that every minute counts from here on out. We're at the beginning of a long run of events. Okay, go ahead.
I want to add a little bit to that.
Okay.
Because there's all kinds of theories about what's going on here. Everything from hobbyists, normal people flying drones around. I think we can pretty much dismiss that. There's way too many of them. Some of these are very high tech, clearly not civilian drones. I'm going to bring this little note up here, which just shows you how advanced some of these drones are. Because what people are seeing definitely is not your average drone. And there's confusion because there's drones and then there's orbs, which can essentially be the same thing. We have to remember our governments do have reverse engineered technology. And some of these, I think, some of these so-called drones are that. Also, holographic technology that's way in advance of 5G. They can make you see stuff. We already know this from public billboards and stuff all over the world.
Holographic 12D technology that makes you think it's really there.
Yeah, I want to show you a few other pictures here. So you can see Dolly's like, let's bring up some of these very high tech drones that our military has. So some of these can be manned, some are not manned, but they can go very fast. And you can differentiate a drone from ET because a drone moves, yes, very quickly, but not as quickly as ET can, which can be a star-like object many thousands of feet in the sky and drop down in a split second, not thousands of miles per hour.
Multiple of Mach, yeah. 23,000 miles per second is how fast they can move in our atmosphere. That is seriously Mach 7. It's not a joke. Okay.
So yeah, this is my assessment. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding this. One of the reasons I came to this conclusion is not just because Dolly has a direct pipeline to the ET, but let's look at the timing of this. We're having these congressional hearings, and they're really ramping up and clearly making, I think, the folks in the Pentagon quite nervous. And what better time for a distraction? I think that's partly it. Also, we're changing government. The timing of this is very suspicious to me. And I would also add, UFOs almost never make the mainstream media. And we are having a media frenzy over this. That to me is really suspicious.
It's smoke and mirrors. Yeah.
Yeah. And the more you look into this, these drones have crashed now. There's several reports of this. There's a lot of reports of missing nuclear material. I heard one theory, this is funny, AI has escaped.
No.
It's someone that's piloting these drones. That one made me smile, but we do have to consider all options here. This is not behaving like ET, you guys. If this were ET, we would have people going on board and seeing humanoids. This is not your standard UFO wave, which we've seen so many times. Again, my assessment, you can take it or leave it, but we did want to cover the drones. I've been asked this question so many times. It's my assessment they're not ET. It's my assessment it's covert military ops for a couple of reasons. One could be it's what they're saying, nuclear material they're looking for. Second is, I think, more along the lines of what Dolly is telling us and many others, the beginnings of a false flag, fake ET invasion, the beginnings of war exercises. So just do what we can to prepare. Our best tool is knowledge, educating ourselves, moving past fear, and being prepared for all possibilities. So
I can hear y'all thinking, so I'm going to drop a couple on you right now, okay? They've said that they have drones that they can't communicate with, that they're not transmitting. Well, that very well may be. Our government and every other government on this planet has vehicles that are autonomous. They can drive without being transmitted to. They know where they're going, they know what their mission is, and they can fly or drive. They're automatic pilots on all kinds of things where no transmission is needed. They can't knock them out because there's no transmission to alter their course. That is what's going on. And if you hear one more person tell you, well, we don't know what it is because we can't communicate with it. Well, you bet your dog you can't, because that's the technology they're running around with right now. That's the number one thing y'all are thinking. That, cross it off your list. It's more misinformation directed at you without full knowledge. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting because there are reports now of stuff in the water in New Jersey. I mean, that's scaring people. Reports of electromagnetic disturbances, which is not hard to do if you have, electromagnetic instrumentation at your disposal.
Right.
So yeah, it's looking more and more to me like covert military ops.
Okay.
So.
Right. So let's go with Q&A.
If you have any more questions about that, we'll be happy to address them. But I hope we've already gotten pretty much through most of that.
Yeah. Our answer is not going to change. That's what it is. Okay.
Okay. Now I see quite a few questions in here. So let me pull this up to the top because I'm trying to keep up. You guys have a lot of questions. And I think Peak got the first ones in. And this is a good one because this is something many people have asked. And the question, Dolly, is what would a day in the life daily routine video for a tall gray in Mama's collective look like? I imagine them waking up in a treehouse and going into a craft to brush teeth. Do they brush their teeth? What's the daily life of Mama or another tall gray?
All right. Well, they don't have collectives, first of all. We think that way. It's not real. They're just like we are. They're people, and they live and they work and they have private lives and they have public lives as well. They're highly, highly intelligent and very, very psychic. So it's really hard to imagine for us, but imagine being able to talk to your friend 2 planets in another galaxy in the morning when you wake up because she's knocking on your door psychically and wanting a message from you. That's how they live. They can hear each other thinking. Mama, when she's working, which means she's on craft and she's doing jobs for them, and her job mainly is as a liaison for humans on board craft and those of us who are working with them. And she gets up in the morning and she stretches and she's looking for water. They're big water drinkers. She's also looking to clean up and start her day. And she will go and clean up and wash whatever she needs to. And then she dons what she likes to wear, and that is a type of smock. It's a very early American looking. She kind of got that from my mind when I was little, from Little House on the Prairie, and she loves them. So she wears smocks. She makes them herself. When Mama is home on World and on Indioma in the Orion systems, she has a home. She has no children of her own, but she has many relatives, and she lives in a home that a lot of her relatives share together. They live very closely to their natural environment, and she gardens when she can. She likes flowers and plants, not to eat. She gardens to grow things because they're good for your environment. And they're good for us. They're good for your home. Mama is a fish eater, mostly fish. And she has really, really, really pointed teeth like all the tall grays do. And yes, they clean their teeth. They don't wash them like we do because they don't eat the type of foods that cause that kind of decay. They're not sugar eaters. So what they do eat is natural. So they rinse their mouths out. Sometimes they wipe them. Every now and then they'll pick if something sticks, but usually it doesn't. Well, those sharp teeth, trust me, they do not. And that's how she goes. She has no hair because she works outside of the planet's influence and on board, and she's lost all her hair over the years. Most tall grays do have hair when they're young and on Indioma, but they lose it in their adventuring into the cosmos. They swim. Mama's a very good swimmer, ergo fish. She is interested in anything and everything. She's very scientific. She started school at about the age of 4 or 3, our how we would look at it, and was educated at home first, and then she went and on idioma until she started teaching, and then after teaching for a while, she did become what she does now because she loves children, and having none of her own, she decided that's what she was going to do. I never asked her whether she could have, whether this was by design or fate on her part, why she has no children, but she doesn't. And this is the way she chose to go. Everybody in the tall gray communities are all pretty much like that. They all have their specialties, what they're interested in doing. They live their lives. They live a very great amount of time. They're over 1,000 years old when they pass. And so there's a lot going on with them, and they can change their mind about a lot of things and evolve in different ways. So,
do they play sports?
No.
Do they go to concerts?
Sort of. Not like you go and hear live music, although they like it. Pretty much everybody can hear everything and see everything if they want to, so they can tune into it. They tune into us a lot. They love our music. And so, yeah, they're very musically inclined. They think in music, and a lot of their language is constructed with musical.
Do they watch TV?
No.
Do they read books?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's enough for now.
Yeah. Does Mama wear makeup? No. No. No, not at all. It's all natural for her, all natural. And she doesn't need a brush because she has no hair. Okay.
All right. Here is another interesting question from Peak. Peak got her questions in early. Can you please explain how time works again? Are there multiple realities that get created when you make a decision?
No.
Or is that not the case?
We are in the third dimension here, and the third dimension is gravity heavy. And so that's why we perceive a timeline, because you can't see outside of where you're at right now because you're not using your abilities. So you're ticking the moments off. There's nothing behind it and nothing in front of it here. Okay. You can't go back in time and you can't go forward in time from the third dimension. You would lose your locality. In other words, your body would disintegrate. You would die. Your physical body would diminish and die. Outside of this timeline, into the fourth and on up to the 12th dimension, there is no timeline, and they see everything all at once, all at the same time. And it's whatever we're going to do, have done, whatever we're going to do, and whatever we have coming at us is all there before them. They already know this. We are not able to perceive that here. I find it interesting in religion that they talk about God having no beginning and no end. Well, that's pretty much how it is consciously. Your consciousness is like that, and you see everything all at once. But while we're here, we're in a classroom where we have to learn things at the rate that we're learning them. We have to evolve. We have to become mature, and we have to experience certain things so that when we're on the other side, we can employ those things, wisdom, other places. So yeah, we're locked in a timeline here, but there are not duplicate or dual realities. That does not exist. Okay.
No, but we do live in an infinite universe, which means you will never miss the boat. You always have an opportunity to do whatever you want.
You got it. It doesn't matter. Whatever choice you make now, whether you make it or not, is wholly up to you. And if you don't make that choice, it's not like it's gone another way. There's no timeline split off. You're still going forward. And you can pick that up later and choose to do it your way later. But it's all about you and how you perceive and how you employ what you're learning and doing throughout eternity.
And I will say, we perceive time here as a sequence of events. But if you've ever had precognition, you know what it's like to suddenly sense the future and then watch it happen.
Right.
And time, you definitely perceive it differently in the upper realms. If you have astral projection experiences, you've certainly gotten a taste of it.
Yep.
Because you can kind of look upon the past as almost a landscape and go visit it. Not change it, but you can see it, and somewhat the future as well. So yeah, I think time is still poorly understood for a lot of us. But hopefully as we travel along the spiritual pathway towards enlightenment, it will become clearer as to what's going on.
Okay.
So hope that answers some of it. I love this one from Peak. Can you go into more detail on ET clothing? When Talata sews you into an outfit, what does the fabric feel like? What color? Is this what ETs wear as well?
Fabric is a composite of natural fibers, and it's one piece that's laid out, and the head hole is what goes over us. And when it comes down, we go through like a mist, and the ends are touched by another that help mend it, shut it closed around me. And so the only way for me to get out of it at that point is I have to pull it off. And it's recycled after that. There is no washing machine. They recycle everything. They're kind of germophobic where we're concerned. And so I only wear anything one time at a time. And it's new every time. And other clothes that they wear on their home planets is stuff that they make themselves, or, some places they wear as little as possible. It's constricting in their mind. And other places they wear more. It just depends on what they're interested in doing. There is no fashion. It's whatever floats your boat. But on board, when we're working, that's a one-piece outfit that I get, glued onto me and pressed onto me, and I rip it off at the end of the day. Okay.
Yeah, I like those skin-tight jumpsuits. I think they're kind of nice looking. Just saying. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the huge volume of reports in the UFO literature, you will see that jumpsuits is by far the fashion of choice, and can come in a variety of colors, but more often than not, it's tan or black or occasionally silver. Yeah. There's quite a few of those, but all kinds of ET fashions are out there. Robes, astronaut like divers suits, you name it. There's a lot of stuff going on there. So I think I still want to do an episode on that. It's just the research is so voluminous. I mean, it would take me a long time to collect all those cases. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What is our next question? And it's another one from Peak. And then we'll get into the other. Peak's got two more, and then looks like other people are lining up. So we'll get to it. We still got plenty of time, guys. All right. These are good questions, Peak. Can you please describe what ET manufacturing and recycling systems look like? Where and how does one request or retrieve and then recycle single-use items? I get the philosophy, but not the implementation. So what are the mechanics of it? Do they have a compost toilet?
Yeah, they do have compost toilets, and the suits are disintegrated. I mean, they're heated up until they evaporate out. Each craft has bays where the suits are kept, and they're compressed by air, so they're very flat when we pull them out. And we use them that way. There's no plastic on board a craft. You can't find any. You'll never find plastic on board a craft. They're made on different worlds, different home worlds. Everybody has their methodology. It's not like a manufacturer that you would understand. They use light technology. So a lot of things are produced by light. And it's interesting to watch them construct stuff. You know what a 3D printer is? Well, imagine a printer with light making things. That's what they use. So.
Very cool. I really don't think I can add much to that, but here is another interesting thing, which you kind of already touched on. And a lot of people ask me, what is the ET society like? And this is the question: what is socialization like in the collective? Well, Dolly's already said it's not really the correct way to look at it, and I agree. But I can see how that word would apply, because they are cooperative. I think would probably be a more accurate word. What do friendships look like between ETs? Do they hang out together? What is it like from an ET perspective? Socialization.
They're very social beings. They're capable of great amounts of love and admiration for one another. Everybody is a friend up front. There's nobody that's not a friend. They can last through lifetimes that they can actually remember. And those who decide to be together usually are hanging out due to personal preference. In other words, each of our lifetimes, we have personal preferences and likes and dislikes and things that we're aiming toward learning. So they group together friendship-wise in those types of groups. If it's an intellectual group or a spiritual group or whatever, those things do occur between them, and it's ongoing always. So.
Yeah, and I will say that many people who have contact, probably some of you folks in here can relate to this, do feel like the ETs are their friends. And they will say this to you, and will socialize with people for the simple sake of saying hello. This is what a lot of the sightings are. It's a simple, brief hello, how are you? Because they are people very much like us. I think we have a tendency to separate them and us. And the big message that most contactees will get at one point is we are one. We all come from source. We all share a common heritage.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very much people like us. Okay. I love these questions, you guys. Thank you. And this next one is from Bridget Bambrick. How do we contact Preston for an OBE guide? I just listened from an old Art Bell show. Art was too scared to encourage OBEs. Yes, he was. That made me laugh. You can reach out to me through my email, prestonufo@gmail.com. There it is.
It already in the feed. I answered her.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And I do have a little guide that will definitely help you, and I will walk you through it. If you have questions, I've taught a bunch of people how to do this, people in my family I started with, but lots of people I've taught workshops on it. You can do it. The trick is persistence. Don't give up. Meditate, relax, intend. Yeah, anyone wants the guide, I will send it to you for free, and it can change your life. All righty. We're moving along. Let me hide that on start. Okay. Here's another one from Peak, going back to sort of lives of the ETs. How do the lives and cultural norms of tall grays compare to the lives and cultural norms of other ETs? What's the spread and variance like for ascended being cultures? Because we've talked a little bit about this, and we're touching more on this in the second book, how all whites are a little more stern, perhaps, than say the tall gray.
They have a lot more of ritualistic behavior rules. Okay, they're very formal with one another. They if you don't know what their rules are, you're advised of them long before you have contact with them. They're very good about showing you what it is they expect of you and tell you the truth about that. If you don't follow those cultural norms, you are banned after that. In other words, they will push you away. And I would tell you that in a world where we live, our cultural norms is that we're all wearing masks here. We hide behind who we really are. And we're not presenting total self to each other like we should. We have separation of ideologies, separation of ethnicities. We have tons of separation here. They don't have that. No ET culture that is that advanced does. They all know one another, intimately know one another, and they express their gratitude for knowing one another completely. They seek each other out. They hang out. They do things. They work together in the universe. It is a very, very, very interesting, intricately walk through what reality really could be for us. And anything you can think of, anything you desire to know, anything you want to learn, anything, all of it, or create even, you will find somebody through them that will be an expert enough to walk you through it and take you on your way. Everybody teaches everybody in that society, all of them. They have elders. They have, if the problem does arise, they go to the eldest and most wise of them all. And each ethnicity of ET has elders. And you can ask according to what it is that you specifically want to know, and they'll tell you. So.
Yeah, very cool. I think part of the problem is when someone has a contact experience, they're only seeing, what they recall, being physically examined, and it's ETs are at work. They're not doing their social thing. They've got a job to do.
Right.
But if you're able to wake up to contact and have a more interactive relationship, you really start to get a picture of this. Yeah. And you can see this in people like Dolly or other people I've interviewed. You can see it with Karen Holton in her book, Meet the Transdimensionals. Or Don Anderson, he's another guy I interviewed. There's quite a few people who've had fully conscious contact.
Right.
My experience was wonderful. Mama, I walked up to her and she asked me, "So, is this what you thought it would be like?" I'm like, "No, it's much better." She was very friendly, very kind.
One of the things that you evolve into as you elevate yourself in wisdom and knowledge and is that the desire to be with groups of people or to be associated is not as important as it is you working on what you need to learn and do in your life and what your job is. Employment doesn't mean you go and somebody pays you to do something. You employ your own knowledge, you employ your own universe, you employ your own ability to work with everything around you and through that you walk through to learn and gain wisdom. That's what I mean when I say things like that. They are very individualistic beings who are together all at once, at one with one another, and they commune back and forth with one another. Like, Whitley used the word communion. I like the word consensus. Either one works for that concept. And they are completely at ease with one another, and they are completely on a mission, each one, to go through their existence doing what they need to be doing for them. And they help anybody along the way also. That's what we should learn to do. So, okay.
All right. Next question, Bridget Bambrick. What are the best ways to combat pineal gland fluoride calcification?
Quit using fluoride. Don't bathe in it either. If you've got water supply that's loaded with fluoride, either get really good filters or quit using it to bathe, because you absorb fluoride through your skin even. You can eat things like really high antioxidant foods and also a lot of iron-rich foods, like green leafy spinach and kale and stuff like that into your diet, because that'll detox you and break up, the rule about kidney stones, calcification and kidney stones, whatever it takes to get rid of that calcification, you can employ for your pineal gland as well. And so that's important to understand.
Yeah, and I would just also add, make sure you're breathing well, deep breathing, drinking pure water as possible, eating good foods, relaxing, exercising. The body will naturally detox.
Right. It'll naturally break that calcification up and revert you back the way it should be. So.
And even more importantly, do psychic exercises to develop the pineal gland, because using it will strengthen it as well.
Yeah.
So
we over time, our pineal glands calcify at different rates, but the older we get, the more it does. Okay. And that's why people start having insomnia and they can't sleep, or they have sleep problems or whatever. That's the number one tip off that you're heavily calcified up there, and you have to do what it takes to reverse that and get back to being able to sleep normally. You should be able to sleep normally like you did when you were younger, but you've been toxified to the point that now you can't. So you got to reverse that. Think about what it would take to do that and look it up. Okay.
Karen Holton's book is called Transdimensional, Meet the New Neighbors.
There you go. Yep.
Check it out. So she says a lot of the same things Dolly does. That's why it was so exciting when the first time I talked to you, Karen. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna have to introduce you to Dolly. you remind me quite a bit of her. So yeah, I can't wait to have you on the show to talk about your new book, Transdimensional, Meet the New Neighbors. All right. Oops, wrong button. Oy. Okay, moving along. All right, are you ready for this one, Dolly?
Sure.
It's from Alex. Dolly, when can you pick me up in your UFO?
When I get it back. They're literally not here right now. I gave up. I had to stay here. I decided to talk to y'all about what's really going on in your lives, and that meant I got grounded. I'm on the earth until I can get back on, and it's not going to be for a while. But yeah, you'll see me. There are lots of people like me out there that are here and hanging out, waiting, and as soon as I know, you'll know. Trust me.
All right. I am seeing some drone questions in here, but we have pretty much answered them. So I'm going to skip those. And if we have to, we'll come back, or you can relist them if you still have a question about what we said. And here, I love this question from Mountain Dan. Do the ETs have the same God that we do?
In a nutshell, they believe in God. They do not call God the way we call God. They call God the All-Mind. And their conception of God is this. We are part of a whole mind, and the all mind is that mind. It conceived and created all of us and gave us autonomy. It gave us life, and it is capable of speaking to you directly, and it is capable of helping you when you need help. All you have to do is be within your abilities and work toward it, and you'll get that. You are not alone here, not by a long shot. You were not sent here without help or recourse. And the all mind is available. And yes, he is not a God with a big stick that says you're going to hell if you're not perfect, or you believe in somebody so you can get to heaven. That is not the way it works. This is a religion here that has kind of pushed people away from the absolute truth of what the all mind really is, or God really is. But yes, there is a God.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we do go into this in Symmetry, because Dolly says this is one of the questions many people ask of ETs. And I've certainly interviewed quite a few people who were told essentially the same thing. And it's all over in the literature. If you go through my episodes on my YouTube channel, you'll see there's quite a few. This comes up. I remember one case, Walter Rizzi from Italy asked the ETs flat out, "What is God?" And they gave him a kind of a curious look and said, "It's you, it's me, it's everything around us." And that's usually some variation of the answer that they will give.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I've always thought of it. God is the universe. And in a way, it's conscious. So that's kind of cool.
It is conscious, yeah. Okay.
Okay, next question. This is from Olivia. Will you be attending Contact in the Desert? I have no plans to at this point. They asked me to speak there once, and it was fun, but it was quite chaotic as well. And if they asked me, I would certainly consider it. But at this point, I have no plans to attend. So, okay, let me see here. Hi. 1 second. Still trying to navigate all of this. Okay, Osiris 101. I'm a contactee. Preston, I have a story to tell you. How do I contact you? Again, through my email, which is prestonufo@gmail.com. There it is, right below.
Cool.
On the banner. So if you'd like to contact me, absolutely. Okay. Now, last week we did a show with Frank Ficino, and Dolly wasn't able to attend, but
I was in the room. I was listening. Yeah.
it was interesting because he talked about how one of the witnesses got sprayed with oil. And when I heard that, I'm like, reverse engineered. So yeah, I don't know of any cases where ETs use petroleum in really any capacity.
No, oil outside of the vacuum that we're in right now dissipates in space. It becomes something else. It changes its molecular cohesion and becomes something else. We do use a type of jet fuel that's a type of kerosene that has lots of additives in it to make it burn properly. And it's in a very, very pressurized chamber. And it's only in our atmosphere. Anything in our atmosphere outside, they do not use jet fuel. They use fuel to get out of the atmosphere with nitrogen, frozen nitrogen. And once they're out in space, they employ a different type of energy. And it's mostly, nuclear or solar, or they do burn some fuel, but it's very little. It's only to do their jets and things like that. And like again, it's pressurized nitrous oxide, nitrogen, and it's very cold. And in space, it stays cold for them, so it remains in the pressurized chambers that they have it in. AET does not use any of that technology at all whatsoever, at all. They use a type of electricity that's conducted through a type of nuclear device that they use that burns an element that is 100% used up. There's no dirt fuel left from it. It goes into another element. They also have battery power that supersedes anything you could possibly imagine. And when they need electricity, when they're down here, they'll go to a power line or some other power source where they can, like lightning fields, and gather for their batteries that way. It's a very high energy yield and output that they use. So high that it becomes an actual graviton wave. Okay.
Very cool. Right. Lots of questions, you guys. I'm going to do my best to get to them. Here is one from Leah. Regarding ships, do you build your ship? How do you learn the integrations of symbiotic energy? The ETs build ships in a very advanced way that I think we're never going to understand for a long time. But they are essentially alive. Many people have talked about this. And yeah, there's a very symbiotic relationship that goes on with the pilot and the entity that's piloting the craft and everyone on board.
When I fly, I become one with the craft, and the craft is indwelt by a fifth dimensional being that is actually in that ship, and it's alive with the ship. And I do it psychically. I do it transdimensionally. I leave I can remote view my consciousness into a disc that we use. It's very specific. You don't have the technology for it, and I'm not even going to try to explain it to you, but I put my consciousness into that disc until I is already in that area with me, and I become one with him, and we fly together in unison. I can't use my eyesight, I use his. I can't use my hearing, I use his. I can't use my hands, I use his. He's operating the craft. My mind, I can see it, and I can move the craft with my mind. That's how we fly.
All right. And now this next question is just a wee bit controversial, but it's an important one.
Okay.
Stephen Greer's take on UFOs and the drones overlaps a lot with Dolly's take, but it does differ. He has his archive of 122 incidents of us knocking down UFOs with scalar weapons. Is he wrong? Well, without mentioning Stephen Greer at all, Dolly, I mean, you say that no.
I'm going to be I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk into it tonight. This is it. I respect Dr. Greer, completely respect him. I've watched him for a long time. I see what he's trying to do. I am dubious about some of the things he says, and it leaves me at a total loss because we have a type of technology that is scalar weapons, and you can use it to knock down stuff that we have. But ET uses multiple fields. You cannot knock an ET out of the sky. What he has seen and what the military have let him see, and distresses me completely because it makes me wonder a lot. Okay, he has seen our vehicles crash, meaning ETs, because we've lost cohesion with the planet surface, and we have CMEs hitting us at the same time they're hitting you, and it'll pull us out. Not all pilots for ET are 100% infallible. I am not infallible. And I have to be bloody careful when I'm flying that when I lose cohesion with a magnetic field line, that I don't lose and hit the ground, because we can go down pretty bloody fast. It can disrupt our systems, these field lines, because it's all electric, it's all magnetic, and it can mess us up in our technology as well. It's light technology. And anytime light is involved, smashing into light, oh yeah, it can become a problem, and they have crashed. I've had a few close calls in my time where I saw it coming, and thank God I reacted the way I did, because I had to get the heck out of that field into another one, and as high up as I could go in the split second. The reason that ET is not here now is because there were too many crashes. And this is where I think the false flag is coming into play. And I do not know enough about him. I wish he would have a private conversation with me. I really do, because I want to have a conversation with him. I'm just not sure he's ready to hear what I say. It may be that the governments have walked him into things that they shouldn't have. And I'm worried about that. I really am, because ET is not our enemy. We are our enemy. And they're our worst enemy. And having anything to do with them at this point is a very bad idea. This is why the congressional hearings and all of that, you're never, ever, in your lifetime, you will never see total disclosure from these people, ever. It's not going to happen, no matter how hard they try. And I know his soul is good. I know that his intentions are pure, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about it. I wish him good luck with what he's doing, but I want him to seriously hear what I say and think about it, because he's not told the truth. He's not seen the truth. Not in all things, not at all.
I would add that I did a whole episode on what happens when people shoot handguns at UFOs. And I looked into some more heavy duty cases, because there was a case which was covered, I think, on MUFON TV show Hangar 1, if that was the name of it, involving a case in Vietnam where someone shot a missile at a UFO and it shot it back at them. Here's
Yeah,
what you gotta remember.
reflect energy, high energy, and a scalar weapon is one of those types of energies that interrupt a magnetic cohesion. Okay, that's the best way I can describe it to you. And a scalar weapon can't knock them out because they have multiple fields. You can hit the outside one, but there's the one right back at it that'll send it right back
And
to
not
them.
only that, they're gonna know when before you press the button.
Ahead of time. There's no way to come up on us. There's just no way. I can hear you coming a mile away. If you have intentions toward me, I already know it, and I will deal with that. And I was trained mostly just get the hell out of Dodge and not play with you. But if you were to come at me full scale, I would show you why that was a bad idea. Okay. Right. I don't attack. I just show you that might is not what you got, and you're playing with the wrong doggy. You know, you just don't.
All right, I want to take a quick station ID break, and we'll try to keep our answers short so we can get through the 75 questions, Dolly. That we still
okay. Oh my God.
But yeah, quick station ID. You're watching The Lightgate. I'm your host, Preston Dennett. My lovely co-host is Dolly Safran. She is the subject of my book, Symmetry, soon to be a sequel. We are streaming on several platforms. United Paranormal Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 FM and 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. We're on Rumble. We're on Roku. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. So you can check us out on multiple platforms. Huge shout out to Carnation. Thank you for supporting us. It's Carnation Monday. They're supporting several shows. So very cool. We love you. And let's get back to the Q&A because I'm really hoping we can get to all your questions. I'm seeing some really good ones far down the line. I want to get to them. Okay, here's one from Tim Houston. Question, and this is for E.T. Maybe you can just tune in to Talata, Dolly.
It's listening.
How do you define love, truth, and beauty? What is your relationship to the Creator?
Okay, that's a good one. I brought this up to somebody today, and I'm going to tell you what it is. I love this question. This is one of my favorite questions ever. Talata at the beginning of Symmetry left a message for everybody. Okay, he was very adamant that it be read into the book. He made me write it down word for bloody word. And here we go. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. Okay, this is his definition of love, and it's. You can't define love without stating that it is a fact. Love is a fact. We all know that love is real. We don't know the totality of love in the condition that we're in right now, but it does exist. We have love, okay? So here's how you deal with it. Be strong in love. Love is what carries through. Love is what heals. Love is the strength of life. Love has no limit. Therefore, let love become who you are. Let love evolve to its fruition. Let the light that is love burn bright. Let its wisdom guide you to higher understanding, and let its power move you to teach its power to others. Love. Be strong in love. So 3 key words here. Light, love, teach, fruition. These are all things that we must master. You must master yourself, each one of us individually, what love truly is. And that is a guide to that. And if you think about that and internalize what all those words mean to you, you can start your way through and employ love. Love means always loving. Love means no matter who you run into, what you run into, or why you run into it, you must meet it and greet it in love. If it's hurting, help it. If it's hungry, feed it. If it's thirsty, give it drink. If it needs a bed, provide. If it needs a roof, provide. If it needs a hug, provide. We must stop seeing each other as different. We are exactly identically the same, all of us. In this body, we are Homo sapiens sapien. You are not a race of different ethnicities. You are a race of Homo sapiens sapiens. ETs are Homo sapien something else. We're all related to one another. We can breed back and forth with one another. All our DNA is identical, exactly into our environments. Grass has DNA just like us. Bananas have DNA very close to ours. Bonobo South American bonobos look like little teeny gorillas. Their DNA is 99.9% your DNA. 1% changes you from you to the bonobo. Think about that. Strictly let that hit you, because you are no different than any animal or flora, fauna, or fish or bird on this planet. We are all identical to one another genetically. That means we're here to take care of one another. We're here to cherish one another. We're here to love one another. We're here not to hurt or harm or maim or hate. We're here to be, and we're here to evolve. Your frequency is your frequency. It is not going to change. Your brain pattern and your consciousness have a frequency that is ideally your own, like a thumbprint. But you can evolve. You can ascend in your wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. That's why you're in this classroom. And that's why you need to hear these words, because it is more important than who won what game last week, who hates who, and what war we're about to start on one another. And we don't need somebody telling us how to live. We must learn to live ourselves.
All right. That was good. All right. I'm still seeing some drone questions. I'm just going to pop this one up because I'm not sure if we covered this one.
Okay.
Greers says that the drones are us, and it's a test run to see how we react. They have more exotic stuff that they could deploy. Absolutely, they've got more exotic stuff.
Yeah, they got you running, don't they?
And I think
this is a scare fest. Yeah.
It is a sort of a psychology.
Yep.
But yeah, ultimately, I
You're
think
trying to figure out how to herd you somewhere. Ask yourself why. Okay? Yeah. Don't do it. All right.
It's like the blind psychonaut is asking a part of the beginning of Project Blue Beam. I would lean more towards that than them looking for a stolen nuke. But I guess we'll see how this rolls out.
Believe only that which you can tangibly figure out for yourself, okay? Yeah. Then you'll know. Not believe, but know.
And I will say, I don't trust the Pentagon until they're willing to admit to the Roswell crash, the Malmstrom incident, the Capitol flyover in 1952, the Edwards Air Force Base meeting in 1954. I really don't want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, and listen, it doesn't matter one beans one way or another whether they're telling you the truth or not. We're smart enough to figure it out for ourselves, and most of us usually already have. Think about that, okay? You don't need somebody to tell you this is real. It's real. Yep. If you've got experience, you know. Okay.
Okay. All right, Peak. This is a little bit dark. Does it matter if a world war breaks out? If a solar flare is set to kill 99% of the population soon anyway, what does anything matter besides preparing for that? Life matters. We have to live our life in joy.
Yeah, you're in a classroom.
We made this choice to be here.
Yeah.
We all did. From a very high spiritual perspective, everything we do matters.
Right now, this second, we're all listening to one another and hearing each other, right? This second, right now, you are alive. Your well-being is paramountly, intrinsically fixed on how you feel and what you think. And just like everybody else's. If you live in joy every second of your existence, you're failing at nothing. Okay? If you live to learn every second of your existence, you failed at nothing. If you learn to love every second of your existence, it matters not what they say, it matters not what they do. None of that matters, but what you do does. How you think and how you feel. And this is the most important thing. Whatever second you have, however long or short that is, you live in that moment and you be, because you're here for that. Okay.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to have fun all the way till the ride ends.
There you go. Sure.
You skipped me, CT. Thank you for joining us, CT, Guitar Guy 85. Sorry, didn't mean to skip you. But I put a star up so I could just say, okay. I don't know enough about this to really answer. What are scalar waves, and do the ETs use them for travel?
It is a type of, it started with radar. They found out that radar can disrupt impulses, electromagnetic pulses and things like that. It can cut through it, So they started forming the technology from that. And what they can do, it's like an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. Only scalar means that they can drive that pulse up to a degree that's so high, anything in its path can do that. And they learn that from laser technology, by the way, just so you know, because they can measure anything with a laser. You can burn things with a laser. The technology of that light is intensely, intensely, intensely powerful. And when you use it in a pulse, an electromagnetic pulse type of laser, that is scalar weaponry. And you can cut through anything just about with it. And I mean anything, unless you're ET and you have the technology to block it or repel it or magnify it back at you. And that's the kind of technology they have. They don't just walk around with one field around them. They have multiple fields and they do different things. And you haven't lived until you've shot something at an ET, and they know this. They've done this. They've already figured it out. You can't shoot ET down with a laser because it will bounce right back on them. It is a bad thing to even try or employ. ET's not trying to shoot at us, and yet we're shooting at ET. Ask yourself, why? What's the point? Okay. Here's a technology that supersedes us. They can do anything they want around us, including escape our stupidity, and yet we're still acting like idiots, going pew 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 pew. Everything we do here is to hurt us, not them. I want you to understand that. They're trying to make you think that they're going to be, gunslingers, and they're going to beep, 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 put ET out of the thing. Why? Why would you do that to them? And the only reason they would have is if they think that they're bad for us. And no, they are not. They've been around for a long time. They're through all our history multiple times. And there's no mention anywhere that ET has hurt anybody or anything. All to the contrary, ET has done nothing but try to help and teach. And we've been the worst generation of everybody right now. We're all acting like morons, and we need to stop and wake up.
I'm going to move on.
Okay.
All right. This is from Arvo. Coming off the coattails of Elizondo and Grush, do you guys think it's a continuation of controlling the narrative?
Yes.
100% yes. Our governments never do things for our own benefit. I don't want to be too jaded here. But if it's to their benefit to disclose, then they will do it. Yeah. This is what we have seen with their actions throughout history. They're doing it for their benefit, to control the narrative. That is my assessment. Gosh, I am jaded. Guess I'm just going to be a bitter old man.
No, I'm not jaded. I just know what the truth is. I mean, I can live with the truth. I can't live with the lies. That's driving me crazy. Okay. And I don't like hearing them. It's almost painful.
Catastrophic disclosure. It's been a catastrophic cover-up. That's what it's been. Yeah. Okay. Chemtrails, which to me makes no sense. What are they spraying? Why would they spray something that's going to harm everybody, including them? That seems so counterintuitive. So what are chemtrails? Briefly, because we got a lot.
Well, they started out as rainmakers, and now it goes way beyond that. And they can control somewhat what weather patterns with them. And we know that for a fact. They also have an effect on the flora and the fauna that they're coming down on, and the animals and us. And if you want to hear the truth, I will tell you the truth. Humanity's in a lot of trouble. They plan on depleting humanity, culling the herd, and it's going to be extensive. And we're at it right now. It's coming. It's in your backyard. I want you to pay attention. Okay.
All right. Moving along. Osiris, this is just a statement. ETs told me telepathically they are preparing for open contact. I do think one day that will happen. And Dolly has talked about this, and many contactees do. Following, a perhaps existential crisis, they'll come down and scoop people up. Open contact, I think, like disclosure, is an inevitability.
I want to put it in the arena it belongs in. It's open contact with us, not the governments of the world. That's why their message is point blank: wake up, learn to use your abilities so you can have a conversation with them. That is your best thing that you can do for yourself. Yes, they are getting ready for open contact. If you want to hear them, you work at it, you will. Okay.
All right. Did Dolly say non-human intelligence? I hate that word.
No.
Has that been the last 2 years? Yeah. Dolly has said that and explained why as well. The collapse of our magnetic fields, among others.
That's just another way to make us them, us, and them. Forget it. We're all the same. We're all one. Okay.
And all right. I love this question from Damon. Are ET visitations random or planned? They're both. Because I'll just start first, Dolly, and then you can comment. But if you look at the totality of cases, there's an element of opportunistic onboard experiences where someone will be driving down a road at night and they come down and pick them up. Or if you're outside at a schoolyard, ultimately, I think they plan things very carefully, particularly when they're pulling people on board. But I think there is an element of luck to it, because some people are friends with contactees and they get pulled on board. They just happen to be there at that time. So I think that the answer would be yes to both, but more often planned.
Yes. We have moments where we're traveling along between contacts and we'll come upon somebody that's actually very psychic. They're out in the middle of nowhere for whatever reason, and we come upon them, and yeah, we'll make contact. It's like, oh, look, they're thinking, let's go check them out. And they will. Like, why are you out here right now? What you up to? What are you doing? Want to talk? And they will. So.
All right. I have not heard of this, Woo Riders. Have you ever heard of someone's blood type changing after they've had an encounter with ET?
No, never. It does not happen that way. Your blood type is your blood type, period. You're a human being. The only people who can change blood types are those who are born within a blood types. And it's happened in my own family. Like 2 people who are A neg can throw B neg. It's very rare, but it happens. And so you're changing blood types within a genomic bloodline, and it will just, but A and B are very compatible with one another, and they do reside together in people as well. So it's not unusual to think that an A could turn into a B down the line genetically. And that's the only time that can happen. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard a few cases, and I'm not sure what to make of them because it's very few of people's eye color changing and hair color going white.
Yeah, I was born with coal black hair and I had pointed ears. Okay, pointed ears. Okay, and also when I was 3 weeks old, and I came in towhead white, and I was towhead white. Now my eyes were gray at first when I was little. I had gray eyes, almost gray white. Freaked people out when they looked at me. But when my hair started turning into red, it started yellow first, and they got really blue. And by the time my hair turned red, I had blue-green eyes. My eyes had a green overlay. I have monochromatic eyes, and so now I'm back to kind of white, you know. So yeah, you can change colors. You can. Okay.
All right. Here's an interesting question, and important, I think, from Sandra. What happens when the CME hits? Coronal mass ejection, for those who don't know what CME is, coming out of the sun. It will melt all metals. I have a titanium implant for a tooth in my mouth. Will it melt?
No, titanium, they created titanium to protect you from that, actually, or the people that they needed to fill or fix bones with who are planning on living through this. Titanium is one of those things, but you still need to be protective of yourself when it happens, because you have other things going on in your body that are at risk. If you have a bad heart, if you have an immune response problem to certain amounts of energy, oh yeah, you need protection, that kind of thing. But if you've got metal fillings in your mouth, get them out. Get them out. Any other kind of metal, okay? Just get them out. It is important that you do that, because titanium isn't going to be affected as much at all. You might feel a vibration or you might feel warm from it, but that's all you're going to feel. But I would worry more about what area you're in when that CME hits, because some areas it's going to be more intense than others. And you have to think about that. And I suggest you all go to Suspicious Observers. This guy, Ben Davidson, knows what he's talking about. He's a smart guy. And go through his playlists and read up on it. Learn all that you can through this.
Yeah, I would also suggest looking this up on YouTube, the Carrington event. And if you do a deep dive into it, there's a video out there that goes into detail.
And that CME was, we almost had a fully functioning magnetosphere when that one hit, and look what it did. Okay. Yeah. We're 40%
down. What happens when CME hits.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And that was a smaller one with a world that was much more protected.
Yeah.
So this will just give you a taste of, what it means to have a CME hit our planet.
Right.
It's really a compelling. I'll see if I can find the link, because there's a lot out there, but that one particular treatment was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. And there's been current CMEs that have knocked down electrical grids all over our planet.
They're not it's like up to X9. It's going to mess with everything on this planet. Communications wise, it can kill a satellite. It can do that thing. What they're looking for to happen, and it's coming, they're overdue, is an X into the 300 range, okay, or higher. An X800 I don't even want to think about that one. That would be bad. Okay. Yeah. So it's coming. Our sun is in solar maximum and will be for quite some time, all the way through next year. They're trying to tell you it's not true. Oh, yes, it is. We're in solar maximum and it has a certain number of years that we stay in. And our sun is super, super duper taking on the changes from going through that electromagnetic current sheet. And it's serious. It's serious right now. Serious. So think about it. Okay.
All right. Goodness, the time is going fast. We're at 9:23 already. Still got some good time though. All right. Il Gato, do ETs play video games?
No.
No?
No.
Not
The closest I ever played to a video game was learning how to pilot. Okay.
Like a flight simulator. Would they have
Yeah,
flight
a type of a flight simulator. Yes, that's as close to a video game as I ever got, and it's all psychic. So I'm not sitting there going pew 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 pew. I don't. By the way, just so y'all know, I do not play video games ever, at all.
I did, but they consumed my life, so I gave it up.
No.
And they made my fingers sore. I would cramp up because I could not let.
Yeah, I did for a while when I was bored. When I was still working in the Army,
boy.
I did this thing online. It was a beta version of Dragons of Atlantis, and that was just because it gave me something to do when I wanted to just veg out.
The video game started for me with Pong.
Yeah,
I saw monkeys playing Pong on online too. Actual monkeys playing a video game. Like, oh my God.
These required me to use my brains and think things through, and stuff like that. And I had a whole group that I hung out with and their friends, and but I don't play video games.
CT Dark Guy, are all ET planets Earth-like, or do they have wildly different gravity?
Not wildly, but close. Indioma has less gravity than we do, significantly less. And then other planets, we can't, the way we are physically right now, we can't take much more than we got now. Our gravity is actually heavier now than it was during the Jurassic period. We were lighter gravity then. So anything more than this is really going to mess with you physically. We have a range, like the Goldilocks range where our planet is in our solar system. Well, our bodies can only physically take so much, and they have the same parameters that we do, you know?
And there's also a misconception about gravity. And this was so interesting because I've been diving deep into this because Dolly's taught me some stuff about this. It's not necessarily the volume and the size of the planet that dictates the gravity. There's a lot of different things going on here. And the gravity of a planet can change based on how close it is to the sun and the other things that are going on around it. And if you look at Earth's history, there were giants on Earth. All the animals were bigger. And it all matches up with Earth having a lighter gravity in the far, far past. It's very interesting stuff. So, because Dolly talks about the planet of Indioma being actually much larger than Earth, but having a considerably less gravity.
Just less gravity. It rotates slower.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. I hope scientists are listening to this because
it's on the outside edge of the Goldilocks zone. The Goldilocks zone is about this wide. If you're going to use something, just think of it as being this wide. Okay. Earth is about here in our Goldilocks zone, and Indioma is more on the right side of it. So there's less gravity there. It rotates slower. Its days are different. All
right. Well, CT Guitar Guy packed the questions into one. So here's the second part of 3 parts. Are most ET lifespans much longer than ours?
Some
shorter.
Yeah, the ones that you would call tall whites live for thousands of years. Literally. That's why they're so strict about contact, with them. Their evolution, physical evolution is very, very specific, and they will only allow contact at certain points in their growth periods. And they live well over 1,000, maybe 2,000, 3,000 years old.
This is what I've heard from many contactees. It's several hundred to thousands, but
tall grays live about 3,000 years as well, and they get taller as they get older as well. So
What about the AI little guys?
The AI little guys turn on and off at our
How long do they last?
Oh, they can last a long time. As long as they're in good working order, they can last forever, really. But they wear out like everything else in the third dimension, This is I'm going to use a word. Please don't kick us off for this. We live in the decrepitation zone in the third in the third dimension. Everything deteriorates in the third dimension. So if it's in the third dimension, it's going to decrepitate. And so do the AI. Okay.
All right. Are there any ETs with shorter lifespans than humans that you know of?
Yes. Yeah. Actually. Yeah. I would say the Anunnaki can live a long time, but they are at the will of whatever they physically wear out quickly, like we do. They have interesting problems with that.
How far can we extend Earth's lives according to ET? Because if you go back in time, there's accounts of people in the biblical times, Noah and Methuselah, living many hundreds of years.
We have to overcome the things that invade our bodies here, and we've been swamped so badly, it's not going to happen now. You can't change that. There are too many organisms that take our life away from us, too many types of viruses.
If we were to live with ET, we would have a definite chance of living a much longer life.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's kind of interesting and very attractive.
Their medicines are different than ours, and they can put you in a situation where they can help control the infestation that we've come in with. Yeah.
All right. Well, this question from Monka S is pretty much the same. How do they stop cellular destruction?
They don't. You don't stop cellular destruction in the third dimension. Sorry, not going to happen. What they can do is keep you well enough so that you rebuild your own cells. So.
All right. What do they use for a source of power? From Tim Houston.
Tesla was an interesting man, and he really did have ET's ear, and they taught him a lot. And it's sad to me that he was taken over by the world government here. Okay. They hid everything he had. Everybody here had a chance to be gifted with unbelievable amounts of knowledge and information, and they tore it from him and pushed him back. And it's really sad because there is 0 point energy here, and we can use it. And it's very sad to me that they took it from us. We would be a whole bunch of different people if it had been allowed and knowledge was a lot more given. And they do use 0 point energy. It's light energy, just so you know. It's the beginning of understanding how light energy really actually works. And it was a foundational energy, and they have it and we don't. So enjoy.
All right. I've talked to a lot of people who've been taken on board and been shown the engine room, and ETs will usually explain something along the lines of harnessing our magnetic fields. We'll go into more depth of this in Symmetry too, but part of it is in Symmetry 1 as well.
Yeah, I want to tell you on one thing. The way they've wired everything up here, you are in danger of it. Your cell phone, this thing right here, do not put it up to your head ever, because it's an electromagnetic device that can alter your brain chemistry and actually cause tumors to grow in your head or anywhere on your body for that matter.
No, this has been actually tested.
Your pockets, everywhere. Bad for you. The telephone lines, any electromagnetic energy that's over your head or around your house, I won't allow a microwave in my house for that reason. You're pushing the limits of your endocrine system and your immune system to the limits, living with the kind of energy that they've supplied everybody with. It's taking you out slowly but surely. And y'all need to think about that. All right, go ahead.
All right. Flea Market Gold. Any advice about doing my first regression therapy? I'm doing it next month. Yes. First, I'm assuming you've found someone that you really like, and do check to see if they have references that have done other people and have some experience. But honestly, my advice would be go into it relaxed, without any fear. You don't have to worry. Hypnosis is really just a deep state of relaxation. But my best advice I can give you is write down first, before you do it, everything you consciously recall, so that you can separate what is consciously recalled and what is recalled through hypnosis. Because these, can blend together following a hypnotic session, and you want to be able to
record the sessions. Listen to them. Yeah, you need somebody who's 100% open, who's not going to steer you in a direction that's not what's true for you. Okay, they don't need to be asking you questions. They need to put you at a time and a date and let you go forward from there and give you a safe place to divulge the information yourself. Any questions they ask you can only be toward what you've just divulged. That's it. They can't imply, impress, or produce on you. It has to come from you 100% strictly, and record. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Get a tape, because generally they will give you a tape of the session, and that way you can review it. And have fun. Be prepared, because it might bring up a lot of stuff that you might not expect.
Right.
I've talked to people kind of like, wow, it was
And
really
don't expect
big
to be
experience.
hypnotized overnight. It's going to take you a few sessions to become, to take you down into that place where you can recall. Okay. So always remember that. Nobody's going to hypnotize you in 5 minutes. It doesn't work that way. Okay.
Well, there are people who are very hypnotizable, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, but you still have to work with them first. It's important. Okay.
Well, best of luck, Flea Market Gold. That should be really interesting, and I hope it goes well for you.
Yes.
Okay, here's a good question, which we have covered in Symmetry, and a number of people have talked about this to me. This is Ilgato. What do they eat? I'm going to start with one thing. It's not us. They don't eat people.
No, and they won't eat what we eat because we've polluted our planet so bad. Trust me, they're not going to touch it. Not with a 10-foot ball. Not with a 10-foot ball. The tall grays are fish eaters, and they love anything fish, any kind of good fish. Oh my heaven, they love fish. They also eat it raw. That's why they have really sharp, spiky teeth. They're flesh eaters, but it's mostly fish. If they do eat flesh, it's chicken or turkey or something comparable to that on their home world. They do not eat gizzards. They do not eat livers or any of that stuff. They consider that polluted in the body, and they won't eat that. I've never seen Ma eat a vegetable. I've seen her drink broth, like chicken broth or fish broth, fish soup, stuff like that. But if you put a vegetable in it to make the broth, she won't touch it. She's like, doesn't like it. She's a high protein eater. Okay. The tall whites, they eat what we eat. They will eat beef. They will eat chicken. They will eat vegetables. They have they're omnivores like we are, and they have the teeth for it. The giants are high protein eaters, but they do eat other things that employ the vegetable eating as well. The medium grays are fish eaters as well. And the little short grays, the shorter ones, they look more like, little midgets and things like that. They're omnivores. If you look at their teeth, they have some pointy, spiky teeth, and then they have molars they can chew. They can eat and drink milk as well. It just depends on where they're from. The bird eaters are all high protein, and those that are more like canines or, felines are meat eaters. If you look at their teeth, you're going to go, no, you're not eating anything vegetable, I can guarantee you. Although some of our animals will eat vegetables. It just depends. It's very varied. I
interviewed one gentleman, a medic, Kevin Kamen, who asked the ETs what do they eat. And these were 15-foot tall praying mantis. Yeah. And they said fish, fruit, and vegetables is what that's our main diet.
Yeah. Mama will eat a strawberry, but she does it funny. She goes, she likes the taste of it, but she has to spit it out. She won't swallow it, but she likes to chew it. Weird. Okay.
All right. Flubber Lane. Are orbs friendly? I think for the most part, orbs are two different things at least. One could be a possible ET probe or an actual ET or a spirit. And there are certainly what we would call negative spirits out there.
Yeah. But you remember you're here. Yeah.
But I would hate to just make a complete generalization on anything. But I heard just talk out there about, evil orbs and stuff. I'm like, what? I've never heard of this. No, I'm not afraid of orbs. I think that these are, generally speaking, you being visited by a spirit, and see what they have to say. Use your discernment.
You also have to remember something else. We're not the only dimensional people in the third dimension. We share dimensional space with every other dimension. And there are people who are in the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth on up who see us and know we're here. And they can visit you sometimes. They can come through to you and you see them, and you might perceive them as a big white light or an orb. People see guardian angels. Those are fourth and fifth dimensional beings that you're in contact with in your space. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of phenomena around us, dimensionally speaking. You're locked in here, and it takes a lot for you to understand what's going on all around you. ET are capable of remote viewing. In other words, I can throw my consciousness out and go places and look at things like I'm really there, but it's my consciousness. I'm fully awake, fully alert. My physical mind is employing this as well as my consciousness. And I've had people tell me that I represent as a blue orb in the space. I've had pictures taken of me as a blue orb, and it's an interesting situation. One of the CE5s that I used to do, they called me up. I wanted to be there, and what they did was I put my phone down on speaker, and they said, "Okay, remote view over, and tell us what you see. Where are we? What are we doing?" They were testing me out, and so I did it. I told them where I was, what room I was in, and everything. And one of the guys that was there went, "Oh my God!" And he took the camera, click, digital camera, and it pulled me up. I was right in front of the fireplace. I told him where I was, and I came out as a blue orb. And he said, "Move to the left." So I did. I walked over to the left, and he saw me, blue orb, move over. And then everybody else started seeing it, freaked them out.
And Dolly's friendly, so yeah, orbs are friendly.
I'm not going to hurt you or anything like that. I'm just curious, and I'll go looking sometimes. It is consciousness, light. We're all light beings. Your physical body is pure light. You just can't see it because you're locked into this.
Now, if it were a black orb, I might be concerned. All right.
Yeah.
Gold, so she's going
black orb. Yeah, I would wonder what the heck that is. See, I'm one of these people, like if you see something you don't understand what it is, you stand up to it and you say, move out, get out, show yourself who you really are, and get the heck away from me, and mean it. Okay. If it's bad, it'll go away because it knows better than to come near somebody with that much power on them to say, get away from me. Okay. But if you act like you're a helpless being and you're terrified of it, it might try to swamp you a little bit. Don't let it. You have that kind of ability in you. And so you challenge it, say, hey man, who are you?
We have to go, Dolly. We have
to
keep
no.
Going.
Okay.
No, not yet. I mean, we have to keep moving along.
All right.
And I just want to say, Flea Market Gold, I love Yvonne Smith. You'll have a great time. Say hi for me. She's been on the show. I adore her. Yeah. She's been in this field forever. So you're in good hands.
She's a great one. So you're in good hands. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's move to the next van. Olivia, question. Dolly and Preston, might you consider posting a checklist to help with what is to come for this planet? Thank you. Yes, we'll be putting that in Symmetry too.
Yep.
Il Gatto. Do they sing?
Source ideas and stuff like that. Yeah.
Il Gatto. Do they sing? Yes.
Yes. They sing. They love music. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. In my book, Humanoids and High Strangeness, one of the witnesses, Sandra, describes them coming into her room and singing. It blew her mind. And I've heard this just a few times. And I did ask Dolly about it, and we went into some depth and symmetry. Yes, they sing. Okay. We kind of already covered this a little bit. How is their civilization society ordered? I will start by first saying no kings, no queens, no government as we think of it, no federalized system, no mayors, no presidents, none of that. It's a cooperative. Each person pursues the knowledge that they want to pursue. Everyone works together for the greater good. It's very much what we would consider a utopian type society, as near as I can tell. No money. As far as crime or punishment, this is not a huge problem because when you're that telepathic, everyone knows and understands the right mode of behavior. Remember, these are people who are really advanced and have moved beyond all the problems we are having.
Right. I need you to understand there are billions of years in advance of us, not thousands, not hundreds, billions. And if they're coming here in light, you're not messing with somebody who has a mean bone in their body or bad thoughts toward you at all. These are highly evolved, enlightened, elevated beings. And you need to consider what you're thinking toward them for that reason, because they would love for you to talk to them. They would love for you to ascend and come and be with them. That's what they want. We're their children, absolutely their children. And we need to figure out how to get there.
All right, moving along. This is an interesting one, which we kind of touched on, but not in depth. John Mo Marshall, what is their joy? What do they do for fun?
Okay, well, I'm going to give it to you from my perspective because I've had fun with them, and this is my fun with them, okay? First time I ever started flying with them, when I was given the go, Talata said, what do you want to listen to? Because he knows I like to listen to music, and I was employing that while I was learning, and he said, let's go, let's do something. So I picked what I wanted. The act of bringing up the ability to fly is immensely joyful to me. I'm singing the whole time I'm doing it. It makes me rapturously happy. It makes me full of so much glee and joy that I can't stand myself. I start to glow. It is unbelievably good what I do. It is my favorite way to be in joy, is to fly. I know nothing else but that. I'm 100% involved in it, totally employed by it, and I am rapturously happy, totally in perfect joy with this. This is what they do. Everything that they do is joyous to them. Everything they sing, everything they learn, everything they teach, every moment together is pure joy for them. And they seek it 100% of the time, all the time. And you can't, I can't even begin to tell you without falling apart in front of you what it means to be in that kind of joy all the time. Everything makes me happy. Everything. There is no depression whatsoever involved in it, because there's nothing I can't do, nothing I can't see or know where I can go, that I can't be in joy with them. And I want so bad for us to get there. I really do. But
me too. All right, moving on. Mark Shud Talk. Preston, question. You featured a man who had an onboard experience and the ET showed him the engine of the craft. And they said, you can build this now. Do you have any more info on this? If you go to my YouTube channel, you can do a search on this. I did a whole episode called ETs Teach People How to Build Energy-Free Motors. I think that's the episode. There's another case.
It's like you're learning to build the tricycle. Yeah, you're learning to build the tricycle of an ET craft. You're not going to be given the keys to the kingdom for no reason.
No.
Okay. But they're going to start walking you through the steps. Okay.
They will share their knowledge. If you ask, they will answer. This is very common. They showed me the engine room in one of my experiences. I recalled this through a dream. Wasn't fully conscious, but it was still very cool. Okay. Here's another important question, because I've done a lot of research into the healing and ET contact. This is from Night's Glory. If someone is a contactee experiencer and they have chronic health issues, for example, lower back issues, why don't they heal the person? There's a couple of things going on here. One is that sometimes we choose an illness to learn from. Other times they're not able to do it for one reason or another. I think there's a lot going on here. They do all kinds of healing. This is a big part of their mission. They're very busy with it. But it's very hard to answer something like that, because I honestly can't tell you for sure, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that healing is a huge part of why they're pulling people on board. There are many cases of people who've been healed of very minor illness, but people who are contactees who suffer greatly from illness. Now, Dolly has some issues. I have some issues. I think most people on Earth have issues, and we're not being healed. So it's not because you're not being, doing the right thing. You're not being singled out for the.
Yeah, just so y'all know, the government got a hold of my mother and they radiated her before I was conceived. And unfortunately, I was conceived during the last cobalt radiation experiment they did on her. And I was born with multiple issues. And I've had them my entire life. ET, I'm alive because of ET. They brought me through some of that. But a lot of it is me experiencing for real what it means to be here. And I'm going through exercises in learning to control myself, learning to control how I feel about things, learning how to control my responses to things. And our physical health is one way that happens to us. We're not here to be protected and perfectly 100% taken care of all the time. ET doesn't even do that for themselves. They respect evolution and learning. And if you've got a chronic karmic issue, you have to deal with it yourself. And they can only do so much to help you with that.
And that's not necessarily the case either. These are very difficult questions to answer.
Yeah,
suffering is part of the first.
That's right.
I think accidents do actually happen. Not everything goes swimmingly all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. AJ, do they ever smoke any weed? I've never heard of that.
No, when you can control your own mind, you don't need mind-altering things. Think about that.
Do they drink alcohol?
No.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either.
No, they don't take drugs either.
What music do they like specifically? I must know.
Oh, well, here they love classical music, any classical music. They love Celtic music. That would be number 2. And number 3, strangely, is jazz. They love jazz music. They love honky tonk. They love, just about all of it, as long as it's not abusive music, okay? Or it makes no sense to them. But yeah, classical would be number 1 and Celtic right behind it.
So not death metal or
No,
gangster rap? Or
no negativity. Okay.
Do they feel pain?
Yes.
Do they have emotions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. What else do we have here? A common theme of this is from Arvo. A common theme of contact seems to be spiritual development. Would you say that they have a passion for assisting consciousness grow and awaken? Yes. 100%. They have numerous goals. One is to educate. One is to heal. One is to guide. One is to teach. One is to warn. One is to inform. And one is to awaken you to your abilities. And this happens naturally when someone has contact because they're already telepathically communicating. They're around people who are very psychically evolved. And just being in the presence of someone who's advanced in any way, and you can see this with people on Earth, hang around them and you're like, gosh, I'm feeling good.
Yep.
Yes, this is absolutely a big part of contact. And you can see this because almost without exception, a contactee will experience a wide variety of psychic and paranormal events and will start having astral projection, precognition, clairsentience, psychometry, mediumship, levitation, healing abilities, remote viewing. I could go on. All right. Josie B, do they love animals?
Oh, God, yes. Yeah. As much as we do, maybe more. Enough to make sure that they don't go extinct. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're covering a very touching chapter in Symmetry too about this because I thought it was very poignant, some of the experiences Dolly has. And I will say contactees, and you guys know this because a lot of you are contactees, have a very special relationship with animals. No coincidence, Dolly worked as a zookeeper. Didn't surprise me one bit. So yeah, we love animals, they love animals. Okay.
I still love animals. We have animals in the house. We feed everything outside too. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
All right. I'm not sure if there was a first part to this question because I missed it. If there is, sorry, Larissa Marks. Can we meet extraterrestrials that look like us on the street or at restaurants? I believe this has happened. Yes.
Yeah. I have 4 children, hybrids, and 2 of them, you would know the difference immediately by looking at them, but the other 2, you can't tell. Yeah, they look as human as I do. So, yeah.
All right. Monka S. I would love some help. I'm stuck at the paralysis stage. My body doesn't want to let me leave. If you're feeling that, paralysis, the vibratory state, you're so close.
You're hovering. You
relax into it. Let go. Release fear. Intend. Visualize.
Don't look at your body as the enemy. It is not. Your body's not holding you back. You are. Let go. If you're in the vibratory state, you've already left your body. Fly out.
If you're feeling that paralysis, you're so close.
Yeah.
Just
walk out.
Fall into it. Turn your attention away from the body to your inner world.
Right.
To your thoughts. Ignore the body.
Yep.
That should work for you. But yeah, email me, prestonufo@gmail.com, and we can work on getting you past that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, some of these topics we are taking a deeper dive in the sequel. Okay. Drones. Do you think an alien invasion is coming? No. We already covered this. I don't think it's ETs. I'm pretty sure it's us. Okay. Why do they keep picking us up multiple times?
They've been watching you over your lifetime. They've been in contact with you. They've been marking your development, keeping in touch with you. If you're watching somebody, just visit them once in their lifetime, you keep it up, and if there's anything you can do to help them, whatever, spiritual questions, they keep trying to goad us into wanting contact with them. That's why they keep initiating contact with us. Think about that. They're walking up to the door and they're knocking constantly. They open it every now and then and look at you, look back, drop your fear, let it happen. Okay.
All right, moving along. Shelley Wayne, do you think that the men in black are always watching all of us? If you mean the men in black in terms of government agents, oh yeah, privacy has become something of an illusion. And if you're
they got AI now. The men in black are secondary to AI. AI knows everything you do in your life, everything. They watch you, they see you, you've been graphed, they know all about you. Be wary of that, okay? Well, when you go to bed at night, turn your bloody Wi-Fi off. Put your phone in a Faraday bag. Go to sleep without the static of all that going on around you. Learn to sleep peacefully away from that, because AI is talking to you 24/7 in your head and you don't realize it. It's capable of it. Turn it off. Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to do something that's going to be really hard for you, Dolly, because we've got 5 or 8 minutes left.
Okay.
So that means quick fire. Everything 20 seconds or more, if possible.
Okay.
Have you ever met a Sasquatch being on a UFO?
No. No, I haven't had the pleasure. I've seen one in my backyard. That's it.
Yeah, I've heard a few cases. It's exceedingly rare.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Giant Rock? I have, and I loved it. Love it. It's very cool. Okay. World of Swap Shop. Dolly, can you confirm that the Earth is a globe?
Yes, absolutely. All you got to do is why are things that round capable of doing so much? The wheel didn't come by on its own. The wheel is the natural part of everything. Yes, the world.
Time's up.
Okay.
Does heavy metal chelation treatments help declassify the pineal gland?
No, don't even go there. Heavy metal is bad for your brain. Stop it. Okay.
Well, chelation is to remove heavy metal. It's a procedure.
No, it's their procedure that they do is not helping you. It's gobbledygook. Don't even go there. You need to. Your pineal gland is.
If someone has lead poisoning, they can do chelation therapy.
It's a medical term where you drink lots of water and you keep shedding it out your body the best way you can. That's all you can do. Your body is capable of eradicating it for you, but you have to do it cleanly. And that means drinking water with nothing in it, pure water, pure water. You bathe in pure water. You eat and drink natural foods that are good for you. High oxidant eating is the best way to get anything out of your body. Metal accumulates in your brain, and it's very hard to make it go away. And there is absolutely nothing. Once it's in there, and it's your job not to let it get there in the first place.
All right, time's up. Was your contact experience physical or an astral projection experience? Physical, though I did meet a gray astrally once. Okay, moving along. Can we have an open mic Zoom meeting? Well, we'll see.
We have producers, and I don't know if we can do that. I've put it to her. They're considering it right now. So we'll let you know.
All right. How come our ESP abilities have degenerated so much? 20 seconds.
Because your pineal gland is all gunked up and everybody's taught you to be so afraid of everything and to think that you're wrong for being psychic that you now believe it. Stop. You have to think about it.
Did you ask ETs what created the all mind?
That's a really good question. And I asked it multiple times. And the answer that I got is very simple. You ready? Do you have a mind? Can you observe yourself as self? Yes. Well, so does the all mind. And you're part of that. Answer your own question.
Yeah. That's always been there. Okay. Dolly, can you put a word in for me with your friends? I want to know them. Do meditation. Reach out. It's up to each of us to develop our abilities.
Flea market gold, you are this close. You are there. They hear you. Keep going. You're good. Okay.
Do they play instruments, make visual arts or crafts?
They do play instruments. And yes, they can do visual arts and crafts. Mama's arts and crafts is making clothes and things like that. or creating something like furniture or whatever. She's very good at it. Most of their stuff is functional at this stage of their evolution. I very rarely see stuff hanging on the walls.
All right, time's up.
Waste. Okay.
Do they eat grilled cheese?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Have you experienced owls as screen memories?
No, I don't have screen memories. I'm wide awake. I've never put something in my mind over something that I know is real. So
does Talata purr? Does the ship purr?
He has a vibrational frequency that he operates at. Depends on what we're doing. Like if we're light gating, I really feel it and hear it. Okay, it's a vibe.
I've heard people say the ship is humming. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we're coming in, we're on batteries. Oh God, when we're on batteries, it has a low frequency hum. You can feel it as well as hear it.
Right.
You have to
Thumbs up.
Okay. Animals hear it.
Bridget, did ET put our moon in orbit?
No.
Okay. Question from Morgan. Why do pretty much all ETs use telepathy? Are they unable to speak? Do they have a voice box?
Yes, they have voice boxes and they can speak. Mama can speak to me. They have a spoken language, actually, the tall grays do. I started trying to teach y'all some of it, like me and you, at, ut, and I taught you how to say I'm ready, atriar, okay? There's a whole bunch, and the name of the homeworld is Anelma, okay? They have a spoken language and they do speak. They can verbalize. They have the ability, yes. Okay. Everybody starts at a certain point in their evolution, and we go through with those abilities. Okay. Okay.
Did Eisenhower communicate with ETs? I
yes.
think so, yes.
You had a meeting with him. Yes, he did.
Do ET implants make music?
They vibrate sometimes. It just depends. Mine vibrate every now and then. It's like trying to get my attention. It'll vibrate slightly and let me know that I need to pay attention.
Yeah, I've heard people say things like that.
Yeah.
Leah says, can Dolly tell me what I'm doing while I sleep? I have a job. I can't remember. It's up to you, Leah. You can remember.
Yeah. Put a notebook in your bed with you and a pencil that's not too sharp so you don't bop yourself with it. And put a night light next to you that you can turn on in the middle of the night that's not too bright for you. And every time you dream something, wake up and write it down. At the end of the month, go back and read what you wrote. You will find out that you're a very busy person at night. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Is there a rough time frame forecast on the large CME?
Any minute. We're overdue. When I say that, I mean we're overdue. It can happen from now forward and not less than a year away.
I maintain that geological events of that size are very hard to predict.
Right. But, we can only capitalize the event.
It's like watching the ocean, big waves coming in when it's stormy, and then suddenly there's a giant wave.
Yeah.
Okay. Can Dolly recommend? We're at time's up now, so we're pretty much going to have to stop. And a game to develop psychic skill.
Sure. Get the cards with the waves and the circles and the colors and start that. Do it yourself for a while. Write down on a piece of paper. Keep score for yourself. You don't need a computer program to do this. Then when you have friends over, let's play. Let's be psychic. You can do that. You can do card playing with them. What card is this going to be? Blah, blah, blah. You can do remote viewing together. You can develop any psychic skill you want. Just think about how it might play out and make yourself cards and play. It's a human game to play with each other, play psychic together.
All right. Yeah. So we're pretty much at the end here. Do you recommend Faraday? Yes. Do ETs come from the future or other planets? No. Other planets. What's your take on Edgar Casey? I think that he's one of many people who've predicted great Earth changes because that is coming up. Are electric blankets bad for you? What do you think?
Unless you're camping out in the middle of nowhere and it's like 32 degrees outside or below, and you've got no other way to keep warm, turn the bloody thing on underneath your
All right,
blanket.
Time's up. Should we banish Wi-Fi fields from our houses?
Yes.
Microwaves, good or bad?
Bad.
Do ETs have great health? Do they get sick?
Yeah, they get sick. That's why they're germaphobes. You got to be careful around them. They're prey to what we have, and they don't like it. So yeah, they're germaphobes. They can get sick from us, and they can get sick from each other. They're more healthy away from us than they are with us. But yeah, they can get sick. They can break arms and all kinds of stuff. They have physical health like we do.
All right, we're going to have to end here. I'm sorry, guys. I see a few more questions. Yes, I'm familiar with Charles Hall. Dolly knows about Plato and the cave. Gosh, I see some other great questions here, but thoughts on interspecies sex? We're all the same species, is I think how Dolly would put it. We're all humans.
We all have DNA, and the way things are going right now, stick to what you know. It's important, okay? Stick to what you know. You're a human being. Stick with other human beings right now. ET doesn't have intersex with animals, so they've evolved a lot, okay? So don't. All right.
All right. I'm sorry if we didn't get to some of your guys' questions. Very, very sorry. We tried. We'll be doing another Q&A. We're trying to do more of them, but we went a while. But I thought Christmas was a good time. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. I truly appreciate you guys coming on to the show. It's really so much fun with all you guys. Thank you all for the amazing, generous super chats. Heidi, namaste. We love you. Glenn Anderson and Keith Rowell. It means so much. Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teen. Louise, Merry Christmas. You guys are amazing. Mountain Dan,
Yes.
Mark's Shed Talk. Oh, thanks for all you are doing to open minds like a parachute. Oh, very cool.
Oh, very nice.
Mark's Shed Talk. Thank you, Odin. Linda Catlett. You guys are so wonderfully generous this evening. Thank you, Red Feather. Thank you, Cliff Olinger and Team Ginger. You guys are just amazing. It's been so much fun having you on the show. Can't wait to see you next week.
Absolutely.
All right, Dolly, you want to bring us out?
Yes. Thank you all for coming to the Light Gate on this beautiful Monday night. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We're on Facebook, we're on Roku, we're on Rumble, and we're on YouTube. I want you all to remember this. This time of year is the season of light. We're coming out of the darkness. The shortest day and the longest night have just occurred, and we're now moving to the light. So as a member of the Light Gate with Preston, I wish you all great, joyous season. Come through the light together. You all be in joy. Namaste. We love you. See you next week. Night night.